Brian and Jess Johnson live outside Taos, New Mexico, in a house that maintains 70 to 73 degrees Fahrenheit, whether it is 110 degrees outside or negative 10 degrees outside. They run the dishwasher and the washing machine. They take showers every day. Their 14 solar panels cover their electricity. Their roof collects their water. They grow food in the greenhouse that runs the length of their south-facing wall. The only way they are, in their words, radical is that they do not pay utility bills. They never have. The Greater World Earthship Community northwest of Taos, where the Johnsons live, has been operating this way for more than 30 years. Over 3 decades of occupied structures requiring no grid connection, no gas line, no furnace, no air conditioner, no monthly check to any utility on Earth. In most of the United States, a building code section called R316 makes it illegal to build one. The structural wall of an earthship is a tire filled with 300 pounds of rammed earth. You place a tire flat, shovel soil inside it, and drive it compact with a sledgehammer until the rubber shell holds what amounts to a dense masonry brick. Stack 800 to 1,000 of those bricks in staggered courses on 3 sides in the back of a house, berm earth against them, angle the front wall of south-facing glass at the latitude plus 5 degrees, and you have built a thermal battery. The physics runs on 2 facts that will not change. First, the Earth 4 to 5 feet below grade holds a constant temperature of 55 to 60 degrees Fahrenheit year-round, regardless of surface conditions, because the sun charges the planet's mass on a timescale, measured in seasons, not hours. If the tire walls, built into that mass, are pre-charged with that stable baseline. Second, sunlight entering through south-facing glass charges the floor and walls during the day, and those surfaces release the stored heat slowly through the night. Not forced air from a duct, stored heat radiating from surfaces. On the coldest January nights in New Mexico, a correctly built Earthship does not need a furnace because the walls have been absorbing solar energy since September. What makes the system complete is that the thermal wall is not a single trick. It is one element in 6 interlocking systems that together eliminate every utility category a conventional house carries. The solar panels produce electricity at roughly 25% of a conventional home's consumption because there is no electric heat, no air conditioning, and no electric water heater working against a leaking envelope. Rainwater and snowmelt off the roof flow into a cistern, pass through filtration, and supply every domestic need except toilet flushing. Toilet flushing is handled by gray water from sinks and showers, which first passes through indoor botanical planters where plants treat it biologically. Those planters are also the food production zone. Bananas, citrus, and tropical vegetables that have no business growing at 7,000-foot elevation grow there year-round because the greenhouse maintains temperatures above freezing through all but the most extreme cold snaps. Nothing enters the house from outside. Nothing leaves it as waste that requires municipal treatment. The Johnsons are not survivalists with an unusual aesthetic. They are a family living in a house that solves several problems at the same time. The Brighton Earthship in East Sussex, England, was monitored by the University of Brighton. Researchers measured interior temperatures against ASHRAE, 55 comfort standards, across years of occupancy, and found the building met those standards 80% of the monitored time, in a British climate at latitude 50 degrees north without a heating system. The Prescott College study in Arizona monitored 14 Earthships across 18 months of temperatures, ranging from negative 17 to 108 degrees Fahrenheit. Not one structure dropped below 62 degrees interior. The Greater World Community in Taos, with more than 70 completed structures occupied continuously for over 30 years, has a documented average utility bill of $247 annually, nearly all of it internet service. At the average American household energy bill is approximately $2,500 per year. The Johnson family estimates they save $500 every month compared to what they paid in Colorado. Michael Reynolds, who built his first experimental structure in 1972 and has been refining the design for 5 decades, described the pandemic from his own Earthship at age 80. When wealthy people were waiting in food lines and grid-dependent homes became unlivable, he was walking down his hallway barefoot and harvesting bananas. Section R316 of the International Residential Code, which governs residential construction in 49 states, prohibits the use of tires in habitable wall construction. The stated rationale is that tires off-gas volatile organic compounds at temperatures above 400 degrees Fahrenheit. That is physically accurate. What the code does not address is that tires encased in 300 pounds of rammed earth and bermed against a hillside never approach temperatures anywhere near 400 degrees. The thermal mass that buries them insulates them from every heat source that could trigger off-gassing. The code makes no distinction between an exposed tire burning in the open air and a tire sealed in compacted soil. That distinction is not scientifically complex. It was never made. Reynolds' company commissioned independent materials testing that confirmed earth-rammed tire walls in occupied structures showed no detectable VOC emissions in the living space. The IRC code section was not updated. Not one structural collapse, not one documented safety incident in more than 70 structures over 30 years has been cited in any code update proceeding. The prohibition stands because the tires are not on the approved list, and nothing that is not on the approved list can be used without triggering an alternate methods approval process that costs thousands of dollars and requires a licensed engineer willing to stake professional liability on an unfamiliar system. The International Code Council, which publishes the IRC and updates it every 3 years, operates on a membership model. Its voting membership includes the Portland Cement Association, the American Chemistry Council, the American Forest and Paper Association, the National Association of Home Builders, and representatives of HVAC manufacturers. These organizations fund the ICC's operations and hold votes in the code development process. American households spend approximately $450 billion per year on residential energy, and with heating and cooling accounting for roughly 48% of that figure. A house that heats and cools itself permanently through physics does not participate in that revenue stream from the day it is completed. It does not require installation, maintenance, replacement, or a monthly payment to anyone in the supply chain. The IRC does not prohibit the Earthship by naming it. It simply requires that every structural material pass through a compliance pathway that was designed for products manufactured by the companies that fund the committee that writes the pathway. Michael Reynolds graduated from the University of Cincinnati School of Architecture in 1969 and immediately began building houses the profession did not recognize. In 1990, after a year-long dispute with early clients whose homes had performance problems, leaky roofs, with temperature control failures in designs Reynolds himself described as early and experimental, the New Mexico State Architects Board revoked his license. He spent 17 years building under a contractor's license, publishing books, training owner builders, and lobbying the New Mexico legislature for the right to build legally in his own state. In 2007, the documentary Garbage Warrior brought his work to international attention. That same year, his architecture license was reinstated after a 17-year battle. Dennis Weaver, the actor who played Chester on Gunsmoke for 19 seasons, commissioned Reynolds to build an Earthship in Ridgway, Colorado, at nearly 7,000 feet elevation in a valley that experiences sustained negative temperatures every winter. He spent nothing on heating or cooling after move-in. He died in February 2006 at 81, ass inside the house. His family reported the interior temperature at the moment of death as 72 degrees Fahrenheit. No furnace was running. The photographer who had visited the house years earlier, seeing the instruments read 72 inside while 8 degrees Fahrenheit registered outside, reported that the instruments must have been wrong. They were not. Walk into the Greater World Earthship Community on a January morning. Outside, the temperature is negative 4 degrees Fahrenheit. The high desert light is flat and cold and the sky is cloudless. You step through the entry and the air changes before your mind registers the temperature. It is still, not the push stillness of a heated room, but the mineral stillness of dense mass. You pull off your coat. The interior reads 68 degrees. You look for the thermostat. There is none. There is a small wood stove in the corner, installed as a precaution. The kindling beside it has not been touched since September. Press your palm flat against the tire wall. It is warm, not room temperature warm. The accumulated warmth of 90 days of solar charging, releasing at the rate the interior requires, without a control system, without a sensor, without a single decision being made by any mechanism more sophisticated than mass. -4 outside, 68 inside. The house that has not paid an electric bill in 30 years is doing exactly what it did on the first day it was finished. In 44 U.S. states, the owner-builder exemption allows an individual to construct their own primary residence without meeting the full IRC standard. Reynolds' company estimates 200 to 400 Earthships are completed annually in the United States under this provision. Belgium, France, Scotland, Bolivia, and Argentina have all built them under standard building permits. Because those countries reviewed the performance data and found the construction sound, the data has been published, the structures are standing. The only thing blocking them from the American mainstream is a section of code that has never cited any of the performance evidence that contradicts it, written by a private organization funded by the industries it benefits. Drop a comment and tell me where in the world you're watching this from, and whether your heating bill arrived this month.